I was in hospital because I was short of breath and I got the COPD and I couldn't breathe. And I seen this chap across opposite me. He said he was short of breath, and the next minute he was like falling out of bed. He was going. So when I called the nurses in, I screamed out and they got the nurses in. They got the crash team round him.
My dad is very aware of people around him and their feelings, what they're like, and always looking out for everybody else. Doesn't really care about himself.
Then they moved me from that ward down to another ward, and the chap next to me, his eyes were rolling and he was really struggling for breath, really struggling. So I managed to scream out, and I got the attention of the nurse. She came in and then called the crash team around that lad as well, and managed to save him as well.
Although obviously he's very short of breath, he managed to scream the place down that they heard him 4 bays down.
I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I'm just hoping that if I was in that situation, somebody would call out and help me.
I was in this kitchen cooking supper in early May this year when my near neighbour Phil Edge knocked on the door and said, have you got a rope? And I said, no, I haven't got a rope, but I've got a hose pipe. Why? He said, there was a bloke in the river and we need to pull him out. We chucked the hose pipe in for him to grab onto. He held onto it for a couple of minutes and then let go and just floated head down out into the centre of what is a pretty deep and unpleasant river. And it seemed to me I faced a choice. I could either stand there and watch him drown, because although the emergency services had been called, there was no sign of them, or I could dive in and pull him out. And it wasn't much of a choice, so I stripped off, went to a lower section of bank, dived in, swam back up the river, got hold of him, managed to get him back, and Phil, my friend, and another neighbour, Anthony Sanson, by that time were at the edge of the bank, the lower section, and they were able to pull him out. So he was rescued, and eventually the emergency services turned up, and all was well.
I'm 19 and I first got ill when I was 10. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, came on very quickly, and then over the last 9 years I've been diagnosed with several other conditions, the most recent one being in May of this year. And obviously, looking at me you wouldn't necessarily know, and that's the thing with a lot of people with invisible illnesses. So if you don't see someone with a broken leg or something like that, then you don't know what's wrong with them. And I think people often don't just see what they see.
In respect of how it restricts her, there's days where she literally cannot get out of bed. Probably her best days, she can go into town, but she's always on crutches. She's always walking very, very slowly, and she will always suffer for it the next day.
It's not nice having these illnesses, but through them I've met so many other people online that have it, and it's just kind of made me want to give a voice to chronic illness, really, because it's not something that's spoken about regularly.
There was a car flashing its lights at me, so I got slightly concerned coming into the area, thinking there was something maybe of danger there. As I drove by there, I seen the crash. Luckily for me, I had my window open. I heard a kid screaming and a woman screaming, saying, "Help me, please, help me." So I stopped, got out the vehicle, went over to the car, tried to undo the doors to see obviously if I could help get them out. At this point there was a lot of fluid coming out the vehicle all over the car, and it was on the bend. I was actually reasonably worried that another car could come by and hit that vehicle again, or maybe something could catch fire. I couldn't get anyone out because the doors were locked and the boot wouldn't undo, so I elbowed the back of the car window screen through, and I managed to get the children out, and I stopped other cars to help to get the other people out and call ambulances. I lost my brother to a car accident, and I've seen what I can do, so all I thought was try and help wherever you can. That's what I presume any human should do anyway.